اقرأ باسم ربك الذي خلق خلق الإنسان من علق اقرأ وربك الأكرم
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Alhamdulillah, we've done some sentences in a previous session, asking questions and giving some simple answers, and we stopped on a answer which described a verb, fa'al. So inshallah, today's topic is introduction to fa'al. So we have been so far introduced to ism, so we know about harf, and today inshallah we will learn about fa'al. So kal'ada, like as usual, so we're going to practice our pronouns, so get stronger on this inshallah. Huwa, huma, hum, hiya, huma, hunna, anta, antuma, antum, anti, antuma, antunna, ana, nahnu. One more time. Huwa, huma, hum, hiya, huma, hunna, anta, antuma, antum, anti, antuma, antunna, ana, nahnu. One more time. Huwa, huma, hum, hiya, huma, hunna, anta, antuma, antum, anti, antuma, antunna, ana, nahnu. So, coming to fa'al. So, what is fa'al called in English? So, it's called verb. So, any word which describes an action, and if you remember what we said, any word which has got a tense like past tense, present tense, future tense attached to it, its meaning, then that word is called a verb, or it's called a fa'al. So if we see, the last question we did was, the Mudarris was asking Mohammed, Aina Abbasun, where is Abbas? And he said, Kharaja. So let's see what it means. Kharaja means he left. That is an action of leaving done by someone. So any verb, any action, there has to be a person who is doing an action. There has to be a doer. They come together. You cannot have a word which describes an action but there is no doer in it. That will be an ism, where it just describes a meaning but there is no action in it. So if we look into the English translation, how do we normally say? We say he left, or he wrote, he sat. There's always a doer which is described first and then the action is described. Normally we take a pronoun first and then we describe the action that has been taken place. She wrote, she walked, she sat, he wrote, he thanked. So any action has a pronoun attached to it which comes first, that is the doer, and then action described. So let's see what is the doer called in Arabic. So if he is the doer, then the doer is called as fa'ilun. Fa'ilun, the person who does the action, is called fa'ilun. And what is the action itself called? How can we know? It's called a fa'al. The action is called a fa'al, and the person who does the action is called fa'ilun. Fa'al and fa'il, they both go together. They cannot be separated. That's how we need to learn now. So how to identify what is the fa'al and how to identify who is the fa'il, who is it doing. So that is be our session today, inshallah. So in English translation, if you again look what we say, we use the pronoun he and then we describe an action. Okay. But in Arabic, if we see the Arabic, what has been written here, we just say kharaja. He means, if you know, we've been practicing our pronouns, so we should be really thorough now. He means huwa. So what we are trying to say is huwa kharaja, but we don't see any huwa in Arabic version here. That is what is the beauty of Arabic. that the word that describes an action also the same time describes who the action is being done, who the doer is. So the pronoun huwa itself is missing in Arabic. It's what is called is hidden. It is hidden within the word itself. That is what I try to call is the word itself is the carrying a pronoun. It's like a mother carrying a child. The verb itself carrying a person who is doing the action. And because the pronoun is hidden, the pronoun is called as mustatir. Mustatir means that is which is hidden. So if you see kharaja, it does not only it means left, it means he left. That is what it means. So that's in English. If we see how many letters are used in making a word that describes an action. For example, if I tell you he ate, there are 3 letters A-T-E. He left, there are 4 letters L-E-F-T. So he wrote, there are 5 letters. The list goes on. So there are a number of letters which comes together to form a word, and it can be 2, 3, 4, 5, as many. But in Arabic, subhanallah, subhanallah, it's such a beautiful language. 99.9 or 99.5% of the words which describes an action are only 3 letters. Only 3 letters. For example, what we got in front of us is kharaja. How many letters we see here? 1, 2 and 3 letters. Very few letters are 4-letter verbs. But most of them, what we see is 3-letter verbs. So this is what we need to identify, what these 3 letters are. The scholars in Arabic, what they've done is they have given the name for those 3 letters. It's called fa'ala. Fa'ala. So if you take any verb, what will that verb, those 3 letters will, what is called as a fa, is called the first radical, or it is called in Arabic as fa kalima. Ain is called as the second radical, and it's called ain kalima in Arabic. And of course you can say now what is lam. So it is a third radical and it is called lam kalima. Any verb has 3 letters in it. The first letter is called as a fa kalima, the second letter is called ain kalima, and third letter is called lam kalima. So if you take this example, kharaja, so you can identify now what is a fa kalima, what is a ain kalima, and what is a lam kalima. Kha will be the first radical if you want to say in English, or it is a fa kalima. Ra is the second radical or ain kalima. Ja is the third radical or lam kalima. So this is what you find in all the 3-letter verbs. You will have a fa kalima, ain kalima, lam kalima. So we need to identify. Let me give you some example. You see kharaja, and you have to look at the sounds what you're being produced as well. What is the signs on the letter? You see here fatha, fatha, fatha. Okay, so this is one thing we will be discussing now. Zahaba means he went. Kharaja means he left. Zahaba means he went. So one more letter, jalasa. Jalasa means he sat. He sat. Raja'a. Raja'a. Raja'a means he came. Fa kalima, ain kalima, lam kalima. So this is how you identify which is fa kalima, which is ain kalima, and which is lam kalima. So you can see you have different fa kalimas, different ain kalimas, different lam kalimas, and you see the fatha, fatha, fatha signs. Let me give you another example now. Is sami'a. Sami'a means he listened. So if you see here now, we are getting a kasra here, but you still have a fatha here, fatha here. Let me give another example. Karuma, karuma. So we got a dhamma here, but we got fatha on the fa kalima and fatha on the lam kalima. You see, all the fa kalimas have fathas and all the lam kalimas have fathas. But if you see here in ain kalima, we have fathas, but there is also kasra, also dhamma. So what does it mean? It means that always in a three-letter verb, in a basic form, that the fa kalima and lam kalima will always have fatha. Zahaba, kataba, shariba, sami'a, nasara, daraba. If you see, all the first and the last letters will be the sound of a. The only change that takes place is in the ain kalima, in the middle of the verb. And all the basic verbs in the basic form, in the three-letter form fa'ala, like kharaja, describes three things. So in the base form, it represents three things. What is it? If I am saying kharaja, what does it mean? It means it is past tense. The action has been done, past tense. He left. It's already left, kharaja. So what else do you understand from kharaja? We understand that it is by a male. He left. It is always a huwa. It is past tense, it is huwa, and it is third person singular male, that is huwa. That is what the basic verb will give us the information. So any verb, if you say zahaba, he went, it gives information that the action has been done in the past tense, and it is done by a male, and we are talking about a third person. Okay, so this is what the information we get. So this huwa, we don't write huwa because this huwa is a part of the verb, and this huwa is hidden. That is why it is called mustatir. Okay, how do we say if two people left? What do? So we do some changes. It is like doing a microsurgery. We do some changes, and then we will get the meaning of huma. What does huma means? That two of those. So if I want to say two of those people left, male left, what do I say? We put an alif at the end. So we take alif from here and we put it here. It's called kharaja. So you prolong the sound. Kharaja means two people left. So the base form is still here, but if you put alif, this alif is called alif muthanna, which describes two people's action. So kharaja means two people left. So how do we say all those men left? All those men left. Kharaja means two males left. Got to remember, the verbs you have got very specific, males and females. So kharaja means this alif represents two males. Okay, kharaja. And how do we say all the men left? So what we do is we put a wow here. When you put a wow, then you get a sign of dhamma there. We say u is a kharaju. This wow tells us that all those people have left. If somebody is telling kharaju, which means all the people, all those men have left. Kharaju. However, if you see the Quran, you will see that in a verb which is written in this fashion, there will be alif written at the moment. Just remember that that is a spelling rule. When you write kharaju, a verb ending with waw, past tense, you will write an alif. You will know later inshallah why it is written, but at the moment just remember it's a spelling rule. You have to put an alif, but that has got nothing to do with the verb. Our verb is only this much, and that is just a spelling rule. So waw represents that all those men left. Kharaju. So if I say kharaja, which means you should understand that only one man left, third person. If I am telling kharaja, that means two men left. And if I am saying kharaju, means all the men left. So this is for the third person male. And this alif is a spelling rule. If you remember in nouns, we talked about muzakkar and muannas. So how do we make a muzakkar noun muannas, we add most of the time we add a ta marbuta. So when you add a ta marbuta, you know that is a feminine word. Mudarrisun, you add ta marbuta, it becomes mudarrisatun. But there is no ta marbuta in verbs. The ta marbuta is only for the isms. So how do we know that it is she left, not he left in Arabic? So same like a noun, we bring another ta, but this time it's not ta marbuta, but it is a ta maftuha. So we bring a ta maftuha to represent that the action has been done by a female. So if you see this, then you know you're not talking about he, you're talking about she. So how do we write it? We put a kharaja. If it is without ta, it is he left, and if you see a ta with a sukun, that means that you're talking about a lady, a single lady, kharajat. And this ta is called tau tanisi. Remember, but if you don't remember, we will practice called tau tanisi. Kharajat. So if you see kharajat, that means that the action has been done by a single lady. Hiya, third person, kharajat. We say Aminatu zahabat. We don't say Aminatu zahaba. Zahaba means he left, so that is the wrong gender combination. So subhanallah, in Arabic you have a genders for actions as well. The word itself will describe who is doing the action. So if I want to say two women left, how do we say? So we have to first bring the kharajat, the feminine version of the verb, which is kharajat, and then we put alif of two dual. It's alif musanna. It becomes kharajata. Kharajata. It's not kharaja. Kharaja means only two men left. Kharaja means one man left. Kharajat is one lady left. Kharajata means two women left. So we have huwa kharaja, huma kharaja, hum kharaju, hiya kharajat, huma kharajata. So this will be our first 5 pronouns inshallah, to see how the word describes the action and the doer at the same time, subhanallah. Let's do some more examples. If I want to say dhahaba, dhahaba means he went. So how do we say those two people went? So we bring our alif of musanna and we make it zahaba to prolong the sound zahaba. So if you want to say all those people left, how do we say? We say dhahabu, dhahabu. That wow is the sign that it tells us, if you read the wow, that means all those, it is talking about all those men. And this alif is the spelling rule, dhahabu. And how do we say for the female? We say dhahabat, dhahabat. Ta is called tau tanisi. And how do we say two women went? So we say dhahabata, dhahabata. So huwa dhahaba, hum dhahaba, hum dhahabu, hiya dhahabat, huma dhahabata. Let's do one more example inshallah. Jalasa. Jalasa means he sat. It's not only sat, it already means he sat. So this huwa is not attached to the word in the basic form. Huwa is hidden, that is called mustatir. Just jalasa. But for if it's two people, you attach a sign. So what is that sign? This is called alif muthanna, jalasa. And for the hum, we attach a waw and we make the sound oo. So it's a jalasu, and this alif is a spelling rule. Jalasu, all those people sat. And for female, so we attach a ta tanisi, jalasat, jalasat. This ta does not describe a pronoun, but it describes that it is done by a female. Ta does not mean here. Ta means it only describes that the action has been done by a female. Huma means jalasata. We attach. This tells us that the doer is the two people have left. and this star tells us that those two are women. So this tells us women, and this tells that there are two women. So if we can do raja'a on your own, how would you do? For huwa, raja'a, huma, raja'a, hum, raja'u, and alif will be the sign of spelling rule. Hiya, raja'at, huma, those two women, raja'ata. Let's do one more. Sami'a. How would you do sami'a? Huwa, sami'a, huma, sami'a, hum, sami'u, they all listened. Hiya, sami'at, she listened. Huma, those two women listened. Sami'ata. Let's do last one, inshallah. We have to practice. Kataba means he wrote. Huma kataba. Hum katabu. Hiya katabat. Huma katabata. So inshallah you practice and write all these verbs. Upon practice, inshallah we will continue next